everybody. Michelangelo Badio here, again for the No Boundaries weekly show. I've had a just incredible week. Hi, Cynthia. Say hello to some people here. Devious intentions. That sounds pretty wild. Hello. There's Mick. Want to say hi to Jenny. Let's see who else is here. Para USA, Marion. A lot of people are starting to be online. We didn't advertise that I was going to be online this week. We, usually say, hey, yeah, Michael's going to be here Thursday. But I've been out of town, in town, and I'm in town now at my own studio here. So it's really fun. And let's see. Hey, Denny, how are you? I know Denny has asked some questions recently, like, do I have my own signature picks? I remember I read that, Denny, the other week. I do. Through Sawtooth, well, it's actually ChromaCast. Sawtooth Musical Instruments, one of their other companies is a company called ChromaCast, which is an accessory company. Guitar stands, guitar straps, guitar picks. So I have a signature pick package, and it's basically comprised of a larger pick that's really pointed. It's a jazz one, but it's like a jumbo style in a nylon. And then we have a Delrin, which Dunlap calls Tortex, but that's not the real name for it. That's their name for it. It's really called Delrin. And so we have a Delrin style jazz pick that's really great for metal, and that's my signature pick. One of the things that I do with Sawtooth is I don't put my name all over the place. My ego isn't such where I have to put MAB on the 12th fret. But see, if I put MAB, I gotta deal with Joey. No, it should be Joey on the 12th fret. I, me. Who do you want to see? Who do you want to be? Joey. And so I would have to deal with Joey. And then Robert would be seething. He would be angry. He's always angry. He just wants to play and shred. But if I didn't put Joey or Robert on the 12th fret and put MAB, I would never hear the end of it inside my head for the rest of my life. So, but realistically, I decided a long time ago that my ego, I didn't even really care about signature guitars for a long time because why? I'm here to help people. I'm not here to say, I, me, that's Joey's. And I just wanted to put out good guitars. And that's what we do with Sawtooth. I have a lot of signature guitars with Sawtooth. It's like an MAB signature series, and there's a lot. But I don't have to put my name on it to validate myself. Oh yes, I feel better now that my name is etched on the 12th fret for all eternity. No, I don't care. And what I care about is making a good guitar that you can afford. And so now, Michael, MAB, a signature on headstock. Brian just wrote that. No, it's not here. This is one of my signature guitars. It's not there. When I was with Dean Guitars, and people know this, the owner of Dean passed away. I left the company. He passed away a long time ago, and I had a great relationship with the people at Sawtooth, their Godey PS music store, which I did clinics at, and that's how the whole thing came about with Sawtooth. I really enjoyed working with them, and we're real close. The two owners, Kevin, Joe, and me and myself, we're all very close. They're really amazing to work with. Now, somebody wrote, please make a documentary about playing with Man of War. That's really up to Joey. It's really up to him. I'm glad I'm a permanent member. I'm a full-time member. I'm the guitarist. And I'm in the band. I love playing with Man of War. I love playing with Joey. Eric's an amazing singer. Dave, the drummer, he's a great guy. And he just knows the Man of War feel. And he's real quick. He comes from the thrash school, the blast beats. He's really great at. But getting back to this, I want to talk about something with Sawtooth now, because there is, there's a lot of choices you can make on guitar. But we have something that's really cool going on right now. It's a 60% off end of summer sale. Now, why do I have all these guitars behind me? Because I got 250 plus guitars. This is like not even scratching the surface of what I've got upstairs. But these are some of the guitars that they are giving 60% off. Now, one of the things that is really cool about Sawtooth versus so many other companies is that they make left-handed versions of, I'm not going to say 100% of the line, but a vast majority, a good 80% or more of the guitars that they make right-handed are available left-handed. And people say, well, what's the difference between a right-handed and a left-handed guitar? One's right-handed and one's left-handed. What? The components are the same. And so one of the guitars that they have left-handed versions in is this. This is the MAB. It's the SW, not MAB. It's the MAB series, but it's the SW M24 Satin White. It's got an original German-made Floyd Rose. It's got great pickups, really nice tuners on here. There are high-quality parts. And the left-handed version, they've got enough left-handed ones in stock that they're doing a 60% off sale of the lefties. The righties are sold out right now. We are sold out of a lot of things. I mean, Sawtooth is a popular company. It's really exploded, but... Somebody wrote, don't share your address. We might rob your crib. I guarantee you, more lights and alarms would shine on you than you can possibly imagine. Plus, I think to even say that, I know I probably shouldn't even be repeating it, but I mean, come on, man. You know, what a thing to say, even if you're joking around. How about a Nitro teaser? Thanks. I can tell you something about Nitro. One, I'm super close to Jim Gillette, the singer. We're family. We've been super close forever. We didn't actually break up because we got into arguments or anything. We broke up because grunge came in. It was one of the rare occurrences in music history where a style of music came in, and at that time, MTV and the labels, they refused to play. You know what they said about hair metal, MTV? I'm glad in some ways they're not even showing videos. They said that hair metal is degrading to women, so they're not playing any LA bands. So they started playing Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, which is music I love. I have nothing against the grunger. I thought it came up with some of the greatest songs. Nirvana, those songs are amazing. Whether you like the lead guitar or not, you have to separate the virtuosity from the actual incredible songwriting. But what MTV said is we're not playing hair metal music because it's degrading to women, but yet they could play rap, which was even more degrading to women. So go figure. But anyway, so Jim went on and did his thing. He went into real estate and made a lot of money, and I went on with a solo career, and we've been friends ever since. So getting back to Nitro, I talked to Jim about this, and we're doing 2 Nitro songs. We're releasing an acoustic version of Freight Train, and it's right at around 200 BPM. The solo section, we didn't use a click. We have cajones. Joe, one of the main owners, Joe Fuco, is playing cajon. He's great at it. Nils Lawrence, the bass player from the Michelangelo Badio LA band, and he plays bass. And it's an instrumental version. I played acoustic rhythm, and I just ripped on the solo. But the wild thing was, you know, when I played the original... Anyway, it's 200 BPM, which I'm capable of playing a lot faster on 16th notes, but it was blistering. Now I had to bump it down an octave. And so the new acoustics... So I had to move it down an octave on acoustic and play it the tempo of the album. It was insane. Now, why I'm saying that is because we're going to release it, and also we're going to release the Michelangelo Badio version of Long Way From Home. And I do a talk about, you've got to give a tribute to Jim Gillette, because Jim's voice he could sing anything back then. And I will say this, and it's I don't lie. You don't have to remember the truth. I never tried to be a role model or a saint, but I don't lie because you don't have to remember the truth. It's pretty simple. But when Jim was on tour on the OFR tour, first of all, he was 20 years old, 21. He had his birthday on part of the tour. And so he was a super young guy. He hit every one of those high notes and those long screams for real. And he never lost his voice, ever. And it was really incredible to see him. He was so loud when he sang. He almost blew up monitors. I mean, he could put the mic this far away and my ears were ringing because his voice projected so much. And I found with great singers, that's the way they do. Eric from Manowar, he's a fantastic singer. His voice projects. It just is loud. I'm a good singer. If you've heard me do my version of Hurt, yeah, I can sing good, but I don't have that projection like a true lead singer has. I'm a great background singer. I can sing in tune. I've got a good enough range where I can cover a lot of parts, but I never professed to be a lead singer. I just enjoy singing. And so I sing once in a while. That's really it. And I did Hurt because I loved the song and I could sing it. It was in my range. But so when we do Long Way, Nils, the bass player from the Michelangelo Badio band, he's a really great singer, but he adjusted the range because it's really difficult to sing Jim Gillette. Only Jim can sing Jim. And so anyway, but it was fun doing it. Now, let me tell you some of the guitars that are on this segment. It's pretty incredible because there is a code. It's the end of summer sale. So the code to get 60 off is EOS 60. EOS, end of summer. So it's EOS 60. And they will, Sawtooth will post, where, you can order. Denny asked the question, what happened to TJ Racer? TJ is great. I mean, he is, he's doing his thing. I don't know what he's doing now. Our paths don't cross that much. But I saw him maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and he was doing great. So, but I can't say, what happened to TJ. I don't really know. Our paths don't cross. It's like a lot of my rock star friends, we know each other, we hang out when we see each other, but one person's on tour, the other one's on tour. We're in different parts of the world. So it's just the way it, let's see, what do you think of people who criticize Carlos Santana because they say he lacks technique? That's just a question. I want to answer some. I don't know anybody who's ever criticized Carlos Santana, to be honest. I'm literally in my entire life never heard anybody criticize him because he's got so much feel. And he was the first one, believe it or not, that I heard the Dorian mode. I don't even know. I don't speak Spanish, but I know Oye Como Va because that's the name of the song. But we loved Santana growing up. So if people criticize him online, I'm kid you not. I met Carlos Santana. He was Devidep, Carlos Santana, because he was very religious. And I met him backstage at a concert. Again, no one I know in my life has ever said Santana sucks. We all like his music. So let's see what else. What do I think? When I think about guitar criticism, the first thing I think about is Kirk Hammett in recent years. Well, let me tell you something. I feel the same way about criticism that Kirk Hammett does. You know what Kirk Hammett came up with? Now, what he did was he played it like this. So James Hetfield is the one who said to extend it to 3 times. How do I know this? Because I watched an interview with the whole band on Howard Stern. You want to criticize Kirk Hammett? Do you think he cares? He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars because he created iconic riffs. One of the things that I will never do, you don't see me criticize other artists. There's a multitude of reasons, but one of the main reasons is it's easy. We called it an armchair quarterback. Like when you're watching like American football, it is easy to sit on your couch and complain about the guy in the field. It's easy to sit back on your computer and complain about the guy you're watching on video. There's a big difference. You're watching him. He ain't watching you. And so, I've had my fair share of criticism. Everybody has. Every artist that's made it has to endure criticism. When I was doing clinics, I used to say, this is not religious in any way. But I used to say, if you believe in God, picture God doing a YouTube video. Verily I say unto thee. Somebody's going to go, this sucks. His voice sucks. He's not being sincere. Look at him. I could do that. So you're going to get the pundits out there no matter what you do. I had a long time ago on Speed Kills when I did the original one with the blue background. For some reason, when I went to digital, it enhanced this slapback delay that was not on the original. So you hear like this reverby delay that wasn't there on the original. I don't know what happened, but we transferred it many, many years ago. And it did tens and tens of millions of views online, but I got a lot of criticism for using too much delay. So here's what I did. I started releasing videos with no delay. And so I released it, and then people are saying, dude, it's too dry, dude, your tone sucks, bro. Now remember, 95% of the people or more liked it, but you get that small minority that says that. You need that. Every big artist gets it. So that's what I think about Kirk Hammett. It's a 20-minute dissertation, but do you think he honestly cares? And when you play a lot of the Metallica songs, you have to play, whether you play the whole solo or not, you have to play parts of Kirk Hammett's solos. So they're really memorable. It's like when I'm playing Manowar. I play Battle Hymn. I play the solo from the song, and because it's a really signature solo, it's a fantastic solo. And so to pay homage to the music, to think about the music first, you have to play that. And like in Manowar now, every song we play live, there are certain songs that I get complete artistic license, and Joey or Eric doesn't tell me what to do. They really don't. It's something that, we talked about, and I just like to learn the main parts of the solos. Certain solos I play 100% all the way through, and there's certain ones that I embellish and do the MAB to, but each song has at least part of the original solo because you have to pay tribute to the music in the past and the things that were before you. Now, let's see. Let's see. My friend No Boundaries, it's the best in this world. Well, I appreciate that. And so, but anyway, look at these guitars behind you. This is an ET relic. They have these in left-handed. They're on sale for 60%. The Heritage Series. This is an absolutely great guitar. I'll show you. Listen to how cool this is. Here and play the Heritage. The Heritage is an amazing, amazing instrument. Okay, let's see. I used this on my last solo tour in 2020 before COVID. This is just so good. super thick. They have the left-handed version in this. Now, I didn't tune this bad boy up. We're really set up for electric today. They also have the Sawtooth. This is a 12-string mahogany, and I can tell you one thing about Sawtooth acoustics, and I can say this as a person that has over 250 guitars in their collection, and I did clinics for decades playing at music stores in 58 different countries. I'm up to 60 countries now because Manowar played in 2 new ones on our last tour earlier this year, and I'm leaving next week to go on the road with them again. But I have played so many different types of amps you can't believe. So many different types of guitars over the years. I'd go to a cool store, I'd see some guitars I'd never seen before and played them. Sawtooth acoustics are some of the best on the planet, and I'm not saying that just to sell it. They are incredible. They have great intonation, great low end, great quality, high-end Fishman preamps, Grover tuners. They stay in tune, they're intonated, they have this thick, rich sound, and they're durable. And I have a lot of them upstairs. I'm in my studio here. It's below my house. It would be like you think of a basement. I've got a really big basement, and it's all finished, and it's big enough for multiple studios here. I've got a recording section there, the video section here, storage section. There's a whole big area behind me. And the reason I'm saying this is they make fantastic acoustics, fantastic, and the price is great. This 12-string rules. They also have one that's a flame maple. It's a maple 12-string. That's one of their top sellers too. These mahoganies are fantastic. They sound great. They stay in tune. They're really, really nice. Now, somebody wrote, nothing feels better than picking up guitars from anywhere and playing them. I beg to differ, my friend. Sometimes it's the worst feeling in the world when the action feels like you picked up Robin Hood's bow. And so you have action that you need a hammer to put down, and the neck is curved like a frickin' bow. And so it's not the most pleasing thing. It's actually a pain in the butt. And a lot of times you would get guitar techs. I've met some of the most arrogant guitar repairmen in music stores you could possibly imagine. Now, here's a guy like me. I'm a top professional. I'm at the top of my game. I've played everywhere on the planet, and I know what the heck I'm talking about. So I would get these guys tuning up Floyd Roses on a bench like this. And the first thing that I would do is I stand up when I play. I would check how they tighten the screws. One, they didn't tighten it enough. So I'm sitting there adjusting, I'm making sure all the Allen, with my Allen wrench, I brought my own tools, that and a screwdriver, I adjusted and tightened up everything because 99% of the time these people don't tighten it up enough. So if I do a dive bomb, I'm gonna go incredibly out of tune. That's first. Second, when you tune up a Floyd on a bench and you wear it, 100% of the time, and I can say this because if it's perfectly in tune here, it will be flat. And here's the problem. They adjust the bar equal to the body. So you're playing this bizarre game. You tune up one string, that's in tune, the other ones go out. You're like, hey, it won't stay in tune. So you go nuts. What do? You pick up the screwdriver and tighten the springs in the back. You make an adjustment. How do I know this? I know it. I absolutely 1000% know this because I'm a pro. And I've had to play guitars that I've never played in my life all over the planet. So I get luthiers. They're not even luthiers, they're techs. A luthier is a builder of a guitar, and they're arrogant. They think that they know it all. Not everybody, some are really cool. But when they tune up a Floyd on a bench, and I'm going to wear it standing up, I know what I'm in for right away. I know it. And so I'm not like that. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I can tell you technique-wise how to do it and what works. These are real life situations. If you want to tune a Floyd and you stand up, you stand up and tune it. You might need a little spring adjustment. I've also realized too that not all Floyds like to be parallel to the body. Some have a little, some guitars, the Floyd moves a little bit, and sometimes my Floyd's like this. I don't really care. I don't care. It gives me wider range of the dive bombs, and it's things like this that I know that are real world workarounds to people who think they know more than me. And I'm not a rocket scientist. If you ask me a cure for cancer, I can't tell you. But if you ask me about guitar, this is what I know. This is my narrow area of expertise, music. And that's why I can safely say, for the money, Sawtooth is so good. I mean, like you get when I saw John Fox, and I'm not saying we're close friends, but I know him. We know each other by name. And I watched him play. He was great. It was around the Chicago area. And I always wondered why he would choose this ET style shape, this telly shape, but use humbuckers. But he sounded great. But here's, it's got a really cool kind of that hollow stretch up. I don't mean hollow in a bad way. There's a lipstick pickup in between. And then. It's got that real funky sound. And let's see. Somebody goes, when you raise your voice, it gets a rise out of my dust. What? Are you kidding me? Bark! Bark, bark, bark. This is Joey. And I say to bark. I am the leader of this. Shut up. All right. See what I do in my head? I'm a Gemini. I'm a true Gemini. Finally realized my birthday's June 12th. So half the year I'm one age, half the year I'm another age. Literally, it's almost right in the middle, June 12th. It's like literally almost half, right in half. And it's so funny because not that I'm such an astrological or, astrology believer, but I don't discount anything. But I'm such a Gemini when it comes to this. It's like one side of my brain is business. The other side is just absolutely artistic. So one side of me wants to be lazy and not finish the project. And the other side of me says, shut up and finish. So that part usually works. And then somebody wrote, play some Hendrix. I love Jimi Hendrix stuff like. And then, obviously. This Predeep guy, I hope I say, you're asking a lot of questions, but you're making assumptions where I don't get it. Okay, here's your question. Why are guitars made in the 80s and 90s a lot better than current guitars found on the market for $300 or $400? First of all, I hate to tell you this, but it makes no sense, and I'll tell you why. In the 80s and 90s, it was very difficult to find a $300 or $400 guitar because a lot of the guitars, you buy a Gibson, Epiphone wasn't doing that great. You were buying more expensive guitars. The guitars over the years have come down in price, not gone up. And there's a reason for that, because you got third world countries when China and then India and Indonesia and Vietnam and Korea and Japan. Now, these are not all third world countries. But when you got countries that were manufacturing at a cheaper price than the United States, you were able, especially in countries like Japan and Korea, Japan makes some of the greatest guitars on the planet. In the 1960s, Japan was considered, everything was coming in. It was like China today, where Japan was known as a cheap product country. Well, their level of sophistication of guitar playing, our tonal system, it's all different now. And so the guitars made today for a lesser price are far superior than the ones made cheaply back in the day. And so it's that simple. When you got a $300 or $400 guitar in the 80s or 90s, it was crap. It wasn't very good. You needed to get a USA guitar, or by that time, the Japanese were making really good stuff with Ibanez. And so so what you said really isn't accurate. And I'm not here to criticize you. I'm just telling you historically, I know this. I was there. And I was endorsed. I work with Wayne Charvel and Grover Jackson, the men. So I can say unequivocally, today, in this world, right now, you can get the best guitars pretty much that have been made almost in the history of guitar at a lower price. The quality at a lower price is much better than it used to be. These are real guitars now. Before, they were cheap. You needed to get a USA guitar. You needed to get a more high-end guitar. I can't remember in the 80s or 90s ever getting a $300 or $400 guitar. They were all USA-made high-end guitars. Everyone I knew played that. So, it's a historic thing, and I'm old enough to know this. But it's a good question. It's a valid question, but I'd like to set the record straight on that. Let's see. Which guitar player do you listen to the most? I have three. Me, myself, and I. I listen to me mostly. What can I tell you? It's not arrogance. It's like, I feel that there's so much great guitar. I listen to many, many new guitar players. Guitar is at a renaissance today. It is exploding today the way guitar exploded in the 80s, even the 70s with Alan Holdsworth and Fusion, or in the 50s when all the jazz players were started to play rock. And then in the 60s, jazz technique went out the window and it was just really basic rock playing. 70s, every decade has a lot of things that are interesting, but I listen to a lot of new players, but I firmly believe that I'm not here to follow the trend of for example, Polyphia. I love Polyphia, but I don't really need to play like those guitar players. They don't like to vibrato. I do. They don't like to use the tones that I use. I do. And so I'm not really in competition with them. I love their music and I love, the way they play. I'm in competition to be the best Michelangelo Badio that I can be. And that's all I really care about. And so did I write the song Long Way From Home? That's a good question. I wrote all the music to Long Way From Home. But see, I was really funny. It's like Freight Train. I've said this before. Here's me, Freight Train. Now, I wrote the music to that. So here's what I had as a chorus. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Because I always write these positive songs, and Jim Gillette listens to it and he goes, dude, that's stupid, dude. So all of a sudden I'm playing this, right? And I swear this song took 10 minutes to write. So did Long Way. Here's what Jim did. You go, they tell me what to do. And I'm like, they tell me what to do. They tell me what to say. And then he's trying to tell me how to live my life. He just starts singing. And I went, okay, what to do, what to say. He starts singing this melody, and then he goes, watch our world, ready or not, because he liked the idea of believing yourself. It's positive, but he reimagined the lyrics to say the same thing, but saying, we're like a freight train coming. Watch out, world, ready or not. I'm like a freight train coming, full speed ahead. I'll see you at the top. And so it was the same idea, but it was so much better lyrically and melodically. And we wrote that song literally in 10, 15 minutes. And then Long Way, I loved Led Zeppelin, so I had this. Now, not only did I write that, I went. I wrote the bass line. So the bass line, like do 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 bump 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 ba-da-da-da. I wrote that too. And then when I came up, I didn't know lyrically what to do. That's all I had. And then, so I start playing this. And all of a sudden, Jim starts going, it's been so long since I've had you touch me. He starts singing, just singing. And I had a cassette. We had a cassette, and I started recording. I go, dude, just sing. It's like, when I'm all alone. That. Yeah. See, he didn't go, yeah. He heard the chord. And then like, I can't get there. And then he starts going. Like, and I'm like, okay, what's next? And I start going, and he's like, long way from home. He sings that, and I'm like, okay. And then I came up with, I go, so it was a process where he was so good at writing, and you know, and I'm not going to bring up Howard Stern that much, but if you ever watch a show, he brings the biggest stars on the planet on. McCartney, Ringo Starr, Elton John, the Eagles, Miley Cyrus. I like Miley Cyrus. Some people might disagree, but she can sing great. I don't care what anybody says. She's a great singer. And Metallica, you name it, you know, John Fogerty, and they all have a reoccurring theme. And that is that some of the best songs that have ever been written, the biggest hits, have come together really fast. And I found that somebody mentioned Gotta Run. Oh yeah, Charlie Christian. I love Charlie Christian. He was the first electric jazz guitar player. Watch. I listen to a lot of influences. I have a lot of influences. For example, Django Reinhardt, he's another one. This is a cool riff. played those songs in a while. But I figured out riffs from a lot of people. So I have a big influence of people that I love to listen to. Somebody wrote, can you teach how to play the Gotta Run Clean part? Gotta Run is a song from the first band I was in called Holland. And again, the songs happen fast. Tom Holland, the band Holland should have been huge. We did what most bands do not do. Think about a movie where you have a lot of big stars in the movie and there's high expectations, but when you watch the movie, it sucks. It's like it doesn't matter who the star is. If people don't like the movie, they don't like the movie. It's not a good movie. And you know, sometimes movies like It's a Wonderful Life or movies that didn't do well at the box office at first have this long afterlife because the people are the ones that ultimately decide. It's not the critics, and there's critics all the time. Nobody ever remembers the name of a critic unless you were Ebert and Siskel back in the day. Critics criticize. That's what they do. And some of it's biased because they might not, maybe they don't like a political agenda. That could be, a reason to criticize something. But I found that, for example, the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze, it got really bad reviews. People didn't like it. The critics didn't like it. Well, guess what? It was an amazing movie. I liked it, and I've seen it a bunch of times. And so what I found is it was the same thing with Holland. A lot of times when you get on a major label, we run Atlantic Records, that's through Warner Brothers, the band has everything going for it. They have $1 billion corporation like Warner Brothers behind them, but yet they don't deliver the record. It's like not delivering the movie. It's like having George Clooney or Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio or real Scarlett Johansson or Robert Downey Jr., but the movie sucks and nobody goes to see it. And so, or they make an Avengers and it blows up. And so what we did as a young band, we delivered the record. We delivered the album. We had great music. We didn't get the machine behind us to back it up. And I told Jim that when we got into Nitro that we have to be really careful that it's not about, it's easy to deliver a product. It's harder to sell that product. And a lot of you will find out. You do this song, you spend all this time, you make it the best that you can be. And when it's finished, what do you do with it? Now you have to sell it. You have to get it out there. That's the hardest part. But when you create great art, usually the machine should be behind you to sell it. Well, there are a lot of reasons why Holland didn't make it. It wasn't called Badio, it was called Holland. But I can tell you this, Gotta Run was a great song. The Michelangelo Badio band that we have in LA, we did a killer version that's going to be coming out pretty soon. But let me give you an example. Tom Holland, the singer, was amazing. He was one of my all-time favorite singers. I used to get chills listening to him sing. That's how much I liked his voice. And he went like, one more time, show them what we're made of now. See, he was another one. He could hear those chords. Kurt Cobain could do the same thing, whether you like Nirvana or not. They heard the chords and they sang melodies to these chords. So people could write, I love you, baby. You could write anything, but he came up with one more time. Show them what we're made of now. And it was brilliant. And then he went like, then he had a pre-chorus. And then he went back and and I listened to it. I remember we were in La Habra Heights living in a big band house. And he played that for me in the freaking kitchen of La Habra Heights. And I'm listening to it, and we're just all sitting around. It was like we wrote 6 songs that day. I'll never forget it. We were just this songwriting machine. I work great when I have a singer that can come back to me with melodies and awesome I'm great at writing choruses. So I go up to Tom. I go, Tom, that's awesome. I go, where's the chorus? And he goes, this is the chorus. I don't know what to do. We were counting on you. Don't sing. Gotta run. I go, that's not the chorus. What happened to the video, Adam?
We're good.
What's that?
It's okay.
It's okay? Okay, I'm seeing anyway, so I said, Tom, that's not the chorus. Check this out. And I went, don't say I'm sorry, let me try that again. Gotta run. I came up with the chorus. All of a sudden, we had this song. And then when we worked out who created, don't bore us to get to the chorus, who created that phrase. Anyway, I created the chorus. The singer created the verse and pre-chorus. Then when we arranged the song, I asked Tom, what's it about? And he was, it's about nuclear war. I'm like, really? I don't hear that, but hey. So I came up with this really wild, whoa. It was amazing. And I go back, and our bass player goes, dude, I don't know what happened, but it accidentally got erased. Now, I know he erased it. And so I go, okay, bro, and he didn't have anything to do with it. He's not even in music anymore. I really dislike that he wasn't honest with me, but hey, you deal with it. So I came up with a mellower thing because the bass, very simple. So I came up with, instead of whoa, wow, whoa, I went. Now, where did I get that from? I took the chords of the verse. The verse. So that's where I came up with all this stuff. Hey, Jenny, how are you? I see you online. Let's see. The front window was decorated. Yeah, and here's the point of all this. We created a great record. This was Tom Holland's second major record deal. Everybody in Holland, after Holland, had 2 major label record deals by the time they were a little older than their mid-20s. And what I found is that I learned a very important lesson about this, a life lesson, that, you can't, the job wasn't finished when we created the music. We had the music. Go to Spotify or whatever digital service, type in Holland, Mike Badio. That's what I went by at the time. I didn't use my middle name Angelo then. Now it's Michelangelo Badio, but a lot of people call me Badio, and I'm really happy with that. It's my last name. And so, but if you type in Holland Little Monsters, listen to how good the production was. It was awesome. Analog tape, Tom Worman, the producer that did Motley Crue, Dokken, Poison, Great White, all these great, no, not Great White, it was the other one. Anyway, there was another band like Great White. I can't think of their name right now. This guy was one of the biggest producers of the 70s and 80s. Cheap Trick, Ted Nugent, this was the producer, and he produced us. And so when you hear songs like Smoking in the Boys' Room or She's Got Looks That Kill, that's all Tom Worman. He produced this Holland album with us. And I remember him telling me that. He said, Mike, you're a great lead guitar player. He goes, but the thing that I like about you is, he said, you're a great rhythm guitar player. And he used Mick Mars as an example. He said, a lot of people don't give Mick Mars the credit for having that super big, thick sound. So it wasn't White Lion. I wish I could say it was. It was the name. Watch. We'll be done with the live stream, and the name will come back to me. Anyway, but what I can tell you is this: what I say to you online or anytime, it comes from experience, and I don't profess to know everything. But, when it comes to guitars, I played so many different guitars around the world. And so I learned techniques to set up guitars within 10 minutes. I was able to look at a guitar, plug it in, hear what it sounds like immediately. I was able to plug into amps to get my tone right away. I remember, I'm not going to name the guitar player. I was doing this guitar show overseas with like 6 really well-known guitarists. And this one guitar player, he could not get a sound. He just couldn't get it. He had great amps. He had his guitar. It was actually, it made us late in concert. But I listened to his albums, and he doesn't have the most awesome guitar. It's not a signature tone that's his. Steve Vai has a signature sound. Zakk Wylde has a signature sound. When you hear me and you hear that, I have a sound that's mine, but that sound came from years of listening to all these different things and actually coming to the conclusion that I like this, I don't like this, I don't like that, but this is how I get my sound. So that's why I can say, Sawtooth Acoustics, they sound great. When I talk about Long Way From Home, somebody asked about writer's block. I've never had writer's block, and I'll tell you why. I studied writer's block in school. People like Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, never had writer's block. He wrote, I think it's around 700 and something compositions by the time he died in his mid-30s. He wrote his first symphony at 5 years old. Was it great? No. But by the time he wrote the Jupiter Symphony, which is number 40, or the Hafner Symphony, he was one of the greatest geniuses that's ever lived on this planet. He never rewrote. He heard it in his head and translated it to the paper. It would almost be like you turn on your DOS system, and turn on your and all of a sudden the next thing you come up with is. But here's the difference. You come up with the whole song and there's no rewrites. Nobody did that. It's very rare that somebody of that genius, it's almost like he taps into this cosmic river of music and just writes down what he hears in his head. It was so incredible. Now, conversely, Beethoven wasn't like that. Beethoven was 30 years old when he wrote his first symphony. He didn't always have the right idea at first. He had to rewrite, but his music's equally as good as Mozart's. So this is the difference. Just because you're super genius, it's like, how do you write a better rock song than AC/DC? Can you write a cooler, more catchy riff than Smoke on the Water or Whole Lotta Love? Or just... that's a cool riff. And, Linkin Park, they're great. Chester, what a singer. Chris Cornell, just... Those are great riffs, or Alice in Chains. It's incredible. And so, how do you write better than that? But with writer's block, I learned one thing. I don't have it because I use technology to circumvent no ideas in my head. And this is what I mean. What I'll do is, if I'm in writer's block, and let's say I have to write like a really heavy, in my own personal music, I like really fast blast beats, and I never write with one static BPM. It's always movable BPMs all over the place. That's the way I hear music. I hear music in mixed meters. I hear music in my head. And so what I'll do is I'll create it on a DOS system, move the things up and down. But when I'm stuck, and let's say I can't have an idea, I'll put on a drum program. Or bop, 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 bop. And so like I can't remember the song. It's one of my songs on my latest album. So I'm like, oh, no. I have that, and then. So I started this thing just blasting away. And all of a sudden, the music started coming to me. Or I'll listen to a radio station, or I'll go on Spotify and I'll just put, or any digital platform, could be Apple Music, it could be, Amazon Prime, whatever, Amazon Music, and I'll type in a genre and I'll listen to beats and I'll get inspired to write. And then I listen to that and I come up with my own things. It's not AI, it's MAB. And so it gives me the opportunity to not get stuck. It's like I wrote a fusion song, Guthrie Govan played on it, and it was on my Intermezzo album. And I wanted to write a tribute, like, it's called Take 5, and it's in 5/4. So and Dave Brubeck had died, the writer of the song, so I came up with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so that's all I had. I got stuck. And then what I did is I had a drum part, and then all of a sudden, then I had, and then I have. So I came up with all this stuff, and it was just because I refused to have writer's block, because I have ways to inspire myself, and that's really the key. Inspire yourself. Now, this has been a long live stream today. The last live stream I did, it was very lesson oriented, but I wanted to tell you about the 60% off sale. And I also wanted to talk to you just a little bit about, how the mind of Mikey works with music, with promotion, because it's easy to create a product. Now, I should say that it's not easy, but once if you create a song, or you come up with a new idea, or you come up with an app, and you bring it to fruition, meaning, you finish the job, that's the easy part. I didn't mean it's easy to create, but that's the easy part. Now you have to bring it to you. That's what separates the real winners from not. Because, if Steve Vai, who I love to death, if he was going to compete against Al Di Meola on alternate picking acoustic, wait till you hear my song, we do Freight Train. Maybe he couldn't do it. Maybe he can't go against John McLaughlin or Alan Holdsworth, but he is the greatest Steve Vai that he can possibly be. And he can beat a lot of those players because he's so good at what he does. And not only does he create the music, he markets it. He's all over the place. So it's those two parts that create the artist. And because you can't have one without the other, or you're going to just be this unknown person that's created brilliant music. So, when I'm out here talking about the different things, I enjoy promoting because I believe in what I promote, whether it's a song that I wrote, whether it's Nitro, whether it's Jim Gillette, whether it's Sawtooth, Manowar. I respect Joey DeMaio more than you can imagine. He's brilliant. He's a genius. He creates his own basses. He's created these iconic songs. He's created his own power amps. When I get on stage with Manowar, I have 7,000 watts of death on guitar. It is louder. Put it this way. We can reach Valhalla with our sound. You have never heard volume like this, because Manowar's the loudest band in the world for real. This is war volume. That's what they call it. This is not goofing around. This is real. Joey's real. Eric is real, the singer. He doesn't need backing tracks to help him sing vocals. He sings great. And it's really incredible for me, controlling 70,000 watts. That's like controlling 70 Marshall 100-watt amps cranked up all the way. That's what I play with on stage, and I love it. And so anyway, I just want to say this. On behalf of Sawtooth Guitars, the 60% summer sale, and it's called End of Summer Sale. The code EOS, end of summer, 60, meaning 60% off. And I can't say enough. I'm going to be gone next week, but I'll be doing another live stream the week after. But I love doing this. I hope you get something out of it because I'm sincerely telling you exactly how I feel, and there's no ulterior motive other than to help. And it's truly like that. I mean, helping you helps me because if I can say something that's true and honest to you, and it helps me be a better guitar player. You know, learning about sound, learning about writer's block, how to write songs, what to look for in music, and being signed to major labels, it helped me understand how I create, and here I'm giving it to you. Anyway, I'm Michelangelo Badio for Sawtooth Musical Instruments, ChromaCast, and GoDPR.